estate investors should be tackling um, every day. When if they're active, they need to stay one proficient with what's going on in the market, but two, they need to really understand wholesaling. So I'm going to get everybody plugged in, invite all my peeps in within my network, and when I bring up some, obviously some moderators, I would like them to do so the same way, so we keep this attendance always very strong. So I need a couple minutes, and then I'll invite our moderators in. As always, they're always great to have here, plugging in their content and their information every Sunday morning with me, which I always appreciate as well. So just give me just a couple extra minutes. I'm plugging away here, and we'll get rocking and rolling in just a few minutes. We got to Okay, right here. Let's get some people invited here. Invite here. We'll invite Felix. Invite Stephen. We'll invite Anthony. We'll uh, invite some other people here. Let's see, Brian. We'll get Brian up here, of course. I think this will be a great discussion here this morning. But obviously, I want to make everybody a moderator, so we'll get it started there. So you can invite some people in. Make moderator. Got to let all the ladies first go first, guys. Roses amongst the thorns. Give me a second here, and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. Let's recognize our sponsors, of course, first. I want to thank Mr. General Perkins of Perkatech, who is the architect and SEO administrator for all our podcasting. We are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We load to Buzzsprout. We go to Spotify, Amazon, and all those other great spots where podcasting goes to. We put it up on TikTok, chop it up, spit it out. We get that content out. So please follow us follow me or the podcast itself on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Blue Sky. We're always putting content and educational information and inspirational information, updates to the market every single day, 3 to 4 postings a day. We're providing feedback. We just did a major move to go high level in regards to our CRM and marketing as well. So you'll be seeing some very different type of marketing in a good way, probably some text messaging marketing as well. But I'm excited about that transition that we're in the midst of. We're also coordinating our events a lot differently. We're now second Monday, second Saturday in Philadelphia for the Real Estate Mastermind Strategies, second Wednesday in Lehigh Valley, third Monday in North Jersey. Then we obviously have our podcast every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The second Saturday event is now going to become more of a very concentrated mastermind one-on-one podcast interview. We just had our first yesterday with Mike Henniger that provides cost segregation. That will be posted live. That will be posted, edited sometime in the next 48 hours. Very excited about that transition to things that we're kind of moving this all along. But I think it's very important for a lot of us here to grow with us. I mean, this is going to be a huge opportunity for a lot of people. The opportunity, obviously, to get recognized on the podcast is awesome, And I think Yardell and our social media team is taking it to the next level right now for everybody. I want everybody to be part of this growth strategy that we're going after. I'm happy to announce that I accepted a regional vice president of sales position at Lend Investors Capital, where we provide not just direct to investor, we offer a true white label training program. Once you are approved as a broker, all the modules, all the matrices, all the guidelines, all the flyers are within the software. Everything is there. We are going to still have our white label course every single month somewhere in the Northeast region for the time being. We'll take it national, of course, very soon. November 15th, we are hosting the ultimate white label program, 9 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, depending on where it all goes. We only have 5 slots left. So I'm capping it at 30 to 35 people. That's it. I have 25 registered right now. I'm going to be busting at the seams in the room at Rooftop Deck down at 2nd and Chestnut next Saturday. So very excited about that. In December, we're in Central New Jersey, and so far in January, we're in New York City. And then in February, we're either going to be in South Jersey or Lehigh Valley, but I'm not yet sure where we're going to schedule that one in February. Very excited about this. This software now facilitates everything that we can provide back to the real estate professional to create an extra revenue stream. Whether you're just a non-licensed individual that wants to get into a mortgage brokering, if you're a real estate agent, you get paid for your referrals, and if you're a direct to investor, you're going to get the best pricing that's out there, far by none. So I'm very excited about that. Take a look at the link. Any questions, feel free to reach back out to me. Let's get diving into our updates to the market. The rates have been very wishy-washy. They actually rose slightly on the conventional side by an eighth to 6.32. Right now, the base rate for commercial financing is somewhere around 5.75. Rates are coming in on the DSCR side between 6 and 7%. Um, it's very wishy-washy right now. It all depends on a couple factors: credit score, which we do a soft pull on, DSCR, the asset type, the loan amount, sometimes the prepayment penalty, depending on what that looks like. So that those rates are hovering around there. We're not seeing massive drops right now. It'll be very interesting to see where the market bears going this week as United States prepares to do something in Venezuela. So it'll be very interesting as we see that progresses. So just a little update to that market right now. Bridge money right now. There's new products out there going up to 95% on purchase, 100% on construction, 75% LTV on after repair value. So for your flippers that are listening in, your rehabbers are listening in, leverage is key right now. And if you have some experience in the past 3 years, we can get you up to 95% loan to cost. So the pricing is somewhere now, I'd say 8.75 to 10 and an eighth, depending on credit score, experience in the past 3 years, the asset type, the complexity to the work as well. So that's a little update to the market. Also want to give a shout out to MB Capital, where I'm a referral partner with the unsecured business lines credit. Been with them a decade in referral services. I've provided them over 20,000 introductions in the past 5 years. So I'm very proud of that. And I've been working with those guys quite a while. So let's tie into some market trends today. Some updated subjects that I caught my eye this past week. Right now, share for sale newly built homes hit a 4-year low. It'll be interesting to see how that pivots into more the build to rent space. That was an interesting article which we posted this past week. I see international buyers still favor U.S. homes, but are demanding showing signs of cooling. I'm seeing that also in the foreign national lending space. LTVs are cutting back. We're around that 65 to 60% max LTV for foreign nationals. So we might see some pullback on that. Might give some more opportunities to real estate investors as well. Let's see if there's any other article that caught my eye. Millions of boomers are still renting homes rather than buying. I thought that was a very interesting discussion. I am seeing DSCR compressing in some markets where there's an over inventory now coming to the front line for rehabbers and flippers that now can't flip the property. They're putting them out to rental. So we're seeing days on the market of rentals moving up just a little bit. Okay, so keep an eye on that. So those are some of the updated article information because we've got a load of great moderators here today. So we're going to move through this quickly and get into our subject. So, questions a real estate investors should ask a real estate wholesaler. This is a very strong list of questions I put together quickly so we can tie it into our moderators. I group it by category a little bit. So you really want to know what the property details and deal basics. If the wholesaler can't provide just basic information, how long have you controlled the contract? Is it currently occupied or vacant? What's the asking price? Is there some flexibility? How real is your after repair value, and how real is your repair numbers? Right? Do you have some photos? Do you have a walkthrough video? The contract and assignment terms. Like what does that look like? What is my assignment fee? It can't be. I get really nervous when the wholesalers don't disclose what they're making. Is title clear? Do we have a really clear title? What's my earnest money requirement down? And what's the due diligence period for me as a buyer of the wholesale? And then, you know, did you really take a deep dive into the comps, right? What's the market rent if I can't flip this property that you're claiming to be a flip? So there's good questions here. Um, has the property been wholesaled or listed before? And why has sold if it's that great of a deal, right? And what's the credibility and the track record of the wholesaler? Can you find anything on this person? Are they a mystery? You know, how many deals have they closed in the last 12 months? Do they have references or past investor buyers I can speak with just to kind of get a feel? Um, are they the contractor holder, or is it daisy chained or a JV with somebody else? Um, you're open to have long-term collaborations with wholesalers, but it's got to make sense, right? And the process and communication is very key too. How to handle showings and access, right? Like you should be able to get into the property, to look at the property. If you can't see the property, why would I want to buy it? And what timeline are you expecting, right? Some bonus questions. What's your ideal buyer profile for the wholesaler to understand? Are you leveraging non-QM lending? Are you leveraging cash, right? So there's some things that you need to kind of think about as you're working with a wholesaler in this space, because it's not going away, by the way. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to talk about the good, bad, and ugly of 2020 today, going into the end of the year, and 2026, and what it looks like for wholesaling. Okay, so I do have a special guest that I think he has to make church. So I want to invite him to speak first and introduce himself, and we'll get things rocking and rolling, and we'll go back to the ladies, of course. John McAllister, good morning and welcome. Brief overview of who you are, what you do, and first, where the hell have you been? Because I'm calling you all the time about our Harrisburg event, so you need to call me sometime today, okay? And our December discussions on pre-foreclosure door knocking. Do I have that guarantee on video, on audio with you today? Will you call me?
Yes, I will call you, Joe.
Okay. So, John,
I'm in North Jersey today, so I got some window time.
Good. So, John, brief overview who you are, what you do, and let's tie this into questions. In real estate wholesaling, should an investor should ask a real estate wholesaler?
Yeah, so my name's John McAllister. I've been full-time, as a wholesaler the past 2 years, and been doing it, a couple of years prior to that. Come from a project management professional background for site construction. So currently I'm doing wholesale here in PA, and then also out of state. And then I'm also I do ground up construction with a couple of my friends slash partners to oversee their sites. One of those developments is in Warrington. They're about 1.5 million per house. We actually just paved, and we're about to break ground for the foundations, and we already have one of the five already sold. So really exciting. Joe, I appreciate you. I appreciate this podcast. You're always bringing massive value to, investors who are seasoned, and then also investors who are just looking to get into, this business. So that's pretty much who I am. I'm also part of Sub2 community with Pace Morby. I'm part of Owners Club. So, the culture there at Sub2 is go-giver attitude, collaboration over competition. So that's about it.
Well, John, a couple things. We obviously have some very big scheduled events in Philadelphia and Harrisburg. In Harrisburg, we're going to be on the 18th and at the Red Lion Hotel with Pace Morby. And on the 22nd, we're going to be in Philadelphia at the Philly office, retail office, co-sponsored by MB Capital Solutions and Lend Investors Capital. We have a holiday party in Lehigh Valley on the 17th at a Weyerbacher Brewery. And then on the 19th, we have the Philadelphia holiday party as well at the Wellness Center down at 4th and Lawrence for our real estate investor friends. So your thought on this discussion this morning in regards to questions a real estate investor should ask a real estate wholesaler?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it, Joe. Like some of the things that as you were starting, I was thinking like, does that wholesaler hold the contract? Is it daisy chained? always want to be closest. I want to be in control of the contract and/or closest to the person who is, because you don't want to waste your time nor your money. Another interesting thing, we had those laws that passed earlier this year about wholesaling, where and I'm putting my like brackets up with my fingers, like it's illegal. Um, we still wholesaling in PA. I mean, there's title companies that are wholesale friendly, and I think they call it a release of um, assignment now versus an assignment contract. So I guess there's some workarounds. I'm not really. I'm just continuing to do what I've been doing, and I've closed multiple deals here this year. So wholesaling's still going here in PA, even though it's technically illegal, which is interesting to me too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is gonna it's gonna morph into something. It is already. Um, so it'll be interesting to watch wholesaling going into 26. Um, I probably would say you're going to see some more plays in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia market. I think Arizona and Tennessee and Oklahoma are coming around. They're going to start cracking down very hard unless you are a licensed real estate agent, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a real estate agent should have a shot at understanding the wholesale community. I think with flipping margins that are so thin, investor share is so high, the rate path in 26, I think, with rates hovering around 6%, there should be enough inventory on the market between the real estate agent and the wholesaler combining forces that it could be a magical year for the real estate investor. You know what I mean? The good, more volume tailwind, clearer rules equal less gray area competition. The bad, I think margin pressure will persist. I think the states that are going to really lead the path are Arizona, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania. And the ugly, I think, is the enforcement and headlines. I think Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Philadelphia are going to crack down. They're going to really hone down. If you're not licensed, you're going to, that's what 26 is looking like. Um, just, as a wholesaler, you got to understand the intent of the assignment smarter. The appraisals are going to be key, recognizing what the fees are and being transparent about that as a wholesaler. I mean, these are some of the things I'm throwing out at you, John. Any additional thoughts before we go to the register of moderators?
Yeah, so tracks, for example, they all say like it specifies this. We could wholesale this contract. This is a wholesaler. So we try to disclose everything. I mean, that's important. And what's also cool, as things change and laws change, it just gives more opportunities. Like for me, it adds more friction, so it's less competition. Not that that matters, but then it opens up opportunities to partner with real estate agents, and you just kind of have to think out of the box and find your workarounds. I mean, I have contracts right now here in PA. I have real estate agents that I work with closely. I handed one off to my real estate friend because it didn't make sense for the seller to wholesale. He would have made $50,000 more if he listed it, and that property is now listed with my real estate friend. So, it just causes me to kind of think outside the box and kind of partner with people, because at the end of the day, wholesaling real estate, what you do, Joe, it's not an individual sport. It's a team sport. Like we all have to work together, and we all have our strengths. So yeah.
Well, John, I look forward to having you doing this pre-foreclosure door knocking 3 times in December. We're going to make you a legend in your own mind in the month of December, plus 2 very big events with Pace Morby. So I hope you could handle all the volume of inquiry from that. And I thank you for coming up this morning.
Yes, Joe. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to December. It's going to be exciting.
It's going to be I think it'll be magical for you, John. I think there's going to be a massive transformation in direction you go. So thank you again for coming on this morning. So I really I welcome wholesaling. I think realtors should get more involved in understanding what that dynamic looks like. Obviously, staying compliant, but I think there's a profitable strategy for real estate agents to incorporating wholesaling and assignment of deals into their business model without violating licensing laws or agency ethics. So We'll go to a couple of the roses amongst the thorns first and go back to the gentleman. Amy, good morning. Welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and our discussion today is questions a real estate investor should ask a real estate wholesaler.
Good morning, Joe. My name is Amy Palvido. I wear a couple of hats. I'm a real estate investor and developer. Have been since 2008. Also, before that, I was a general contractor. And so I've been doing construction and real estate for, gosh, I'm gonna age myself. 20.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
22nd year, Joe. 22nd year. And then I currently am also a tech founder. I started a real estate technology company, and I chair the U.S. PropTech Council, which is the trade association for the real estate technology industry in the United States, also in Canada and Mexico and other places. I haven't worked with a real estate wholesaler in a long time, but back in the day when I was like blowing and going and had real estate investments all over the place, I did. And sometimes real estate wholesaling will become a fad, and a lot of newbie people will get into it. And so, as a real estate investor, you just got to weed out who are the newer ones because they could get you into trouble. So, the questions I always found interesting were really honestly, at the end of the day, the strength of a real estate wholesaler is the strength of their contract and the title company. So if you don't have a really good title company that knows what they're doing, or the contract that they're using it doesn't, add up, like it did, the assignment clause isn't, or they're not abiding by what, you can get into a lot of trouble unbeknownst to you as a real estate investor because of how the contract is written. So you got to make sure that real estate wholesaler, whoever it is, knows what they're doing, and then use it, especially for you if you're a first-time real estate investor working with a wholesaler. Protect yourself. Just ask an attorney. It's not going to hurt you to spend a little bit of money before you spend a lot of money with a real estate wholesaler and get yourself into a lot of trouble. So that, from a protective standpoint. John's laughing. Yeah.
John, you want to give some interject? John, give me some. Let me know what your thoughts are, because Amy is a open book.
Sorry.
It's okay. What's your thoughts to that, John?
No, it's good. She's right, and you can get, like everything she said is so true. So absolutely, and there's a low entry barrier into wholesaling. You can literally go on YouTube, watch a couple videos, and now you can put yourself as a wholesaler. So there is a lot of newbies, and you do have to protect yourself. Absolutely, there's a lot of risk. But I honestly, I hit on mute, so keep going. Okay, you got it.
Okay. No worries, John. Yeah, no, it's those are my main things. I back in the day I was like, look, if you're gonna, there's value in a wholesale in the fact that they're out there bird dogging deals, right? They're out there chasing deals that you might not have the energy or time to chase. And so they're doing the hard legwork for you to find the deals. So I never asked them what they were getting it at. Like, I just you know what? If it pencils for me, it pencils for me. Because some wholesalers got offended by that. And it always, for me, it was like, damn, you got this deal at that price? I'm like, good on you, man. And then it creates this weird bucket emotion, like, well, why am I not buying it at that? And, so I just never went there. I'm like, if it pencils for me, it pencils for me. So, but it is interesting, and they do provide value because they are scouting deals, right? They're scouting, deals for you. But the other thing I always found with a wholesaler is they couldn't write a CapEx budget to save their life.
Yeah.
Like, they always made the deal work, and it wasn't really true. So because they're trying to flip the deals, you just got to be a little wary of some wholesalers, because just understand the numbers they're giving you are really trying to get the deal to work, right? So do your own CapEx budgets. Lots of times they weren't including closing costs and other things that you well, wait a minute, you're going to have like so much of closing costs that I'm going to have to pay, and so because we're going to turn around and flip it. So you just know that your margins might keep eat up by your ending closing costs. So just know your numbers, and that would be my app and nickel.
There you go, Amy. I have a couple questions since you're the queen. You're the queen of LinkedIn. So, okay. So, question number one: if you have 254,311 impressions in 48 hours on a post, is that good?
Yes, Joe, that is awesome. That's viral on LinkedIn.
Okay, so what does that mean for my profile? Hypothetically, if I was the one that posted that.
I've had a couple posts go like that. You it so which is unfortunate. If you didn't have a call to action in that post, then you might have missed a moment. But no, I've had a couple of posts get like crazy like that. And the LinkedIn algorithm, once a post kind of goes crazy town, the algorithm works in your favor. So it is good marketing, it's good branding. It got your name out there. So some of the posts that you're trying to get to do some of that, like if you do an infographic, they'll do some of that. So it helps. It'll help you.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn posts are short lived.
Yeah. I found that.
Like all the time. Like to get people to really create moments or really create branding and what I'm finding is have either in your profile or somewhere a call to action buttons where it's easy to get to, like people will connect with you on LinkedIn and then that never turns into anything. That's why I have my automation set up to where when someone does connect with me, I'm like, hey, we should get on a call. Like I do my little like get on a call with me message, and that will actually turn stuff in. But yes, no, but having posts like that do that are great. It gets your name out in front of a lot of different people. But really capitalize on LinkedIn. It's really having a call to action kind of easy way to get or I send to really move on biz dev from LinkedIn for sure.
So I get the blessing of the queen of LinkedIn now that I did good. Okay. Well, the podcast and happy
like probably top 10 on viral posts on LinkedIn too for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. I appreciate it. And then right now the podcast is organically grabbing about 4 to 5 thousand views a week post production. Yeah, so so this gets posted to 350 Facebook groups every Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. That are real estate related, and then obviously LinkedIn, Twitter, um, YouTube, and then it gets onto Buzzsprout, and then it goes viral from there as well. So I really appreciate you being part of this, Amy. I just want to throw that out there. And are you hosting an event after this as well?
Talking about is there an AI bubble and what does that mean?
I feel like I feel like it's going to peak out to a point where people get exhausted from it. I almost have that feeling right now.
Yeah, so people are kind of there is a thing. We're my opinion is always that we're not done. There's no way.
No, I don't think we're done. It's just going to change a little bit where it's not as or it's not it's going to be a piece of the pie, but it's not going to be everything because I think people want to talk to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think there's companies that are overvalued, like OpenAI.
Yeah.
Right, and that's easy. But everybody's saying because OpenAI is valued, it's an AI bubble, and I'm like, no, that's farther from the truth because we got Gemini and Grok and Claude.
Yeah.
All these others, and then we haven't even scratched the surface on the AI capabilities yet.
Yeah. I'm a little amazed about what we're doing now. You know what I mean? So I think there's a great opportunity for all of us. It's how much can you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my concern as a human being. I mean, I can only use so many tools.
Yeah, I know. So I've been encouraging everyone this month to, and it was actually October. It was an automation challenge, and so we were in my rooms. I was like, okay, let's talk through automating processes and different things. And so I've been automating some processes, and so I'll refill all in my room at 9 o'clock. So.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Amy. As always, we're gonna dive into the obviously our moderators, because I really appreciate their time they take on a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. live Eastern Standard Time. Some of the individuals here are a couple hours behind. So, I'm going to still talk about a little bit before we go to Deborah is these strategies for real estate agents to wholesale and assign real estate. I think there's a dual model, business model that you can do here. As a licensed agent and investor wholesaler, you're putting yourself in a position to be the go-to, maybe in your office, maybe in your team, maybe in your market. Obviously, using your LLC is going to be very huge. Your brokerage got to be on board. You got to make sure the marketing contracts they fund separately. You got to disclose in all these contracts as a licensed agent. But I feel like there's a really great opportunity for realtors to create an additional revenue stream and keep the lights on in 2026 if they embrace this. I'm sure there's classes by state how to kind of play this out with the purchase and sales agreement, the assignment of contract form, the disclosure of license, buyer's acknowledgement of the assignment. I just think that you could build a faster and quicker cash buyer network by doing this. By zip code, by property type, by price range, by closing time. And then you get to collaborate with other professionals in the field, like a non-QM lender like myself, and then you could become a referral partner or even broker of capital under white labels purposes. So, Deborah, good morning, and thank you for being here this morning from live from Las Vegas, Nevada. A brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to questions a real estate investor should ask a real estate wholesaler.
Good morning, Joe. Thank you for pulling me up, and I love Amy, and I love her room, and you're going techie. That's great, Joe. I'm a real estate agent in Las Vegas, Nevada, and for 20 years. And I'm sorry, Joe. What did you ask me?
Your thoughts of the real estate wholesaling and real estate agent perspective.
So I get a lot of investors calling, and I think wholesaling is an awesome opportunity for people that want to, sell quick, and they don't want to use an agent, and they just want that cash money, and sell quick. So there is a big market, Joe, out here, and I just looked it up, and Nevada is one of the highest states for foreclosure. And I have been noticing we've been getting a lot of pre-foreclosure notices. So if anybody's interested in coordinating with me, I do get the pre-foreclosure notices. So, door knocking or, whatever you want to do, just, shoot me a text or call me or send me an email. But yeah, Joe, Delaware is also up there, and Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
I think we're going to see massive problems in Nevada and Florida specifically. I think Delaware will be okay because I think the wholesalers will pick up a lot of that. I think, Deborah, what's your thoughts on collaborating with wholesalers within that are maybe not, they don't want to become licensed agents, but they want to work with you? What's your thoughts on that going into 26?
Anybody that wants to work with me as a wholesaler, I don't mind wholesaling. I think it's, it's just like selling your house normally with an agent. It's just, something that's going to be around for a while. So do people want to sell for the most money? Yeah, but some are in a different position, pre-foreclosure, they got to get out.
Yeah.
And they don't have time to sit on the market. Like, our inventory's up and the days on the market are up here. So, and especially November and December are slow anyway. But yeah, that's what we're seeing here, Joe. And it's a buyer's market here. We're just right there on the buyer and seller. So we're more towards buyer market here.
Well, thanks, Deborah, as always. I appreciate your time. And Deb, let me tell you something. Deborah's been just a gem of a friend. over the years since we met originally here on Clubhouse during COVID. Got to meet her in person. She helped actually my wife and I out with something that we needed back a bit on we couldn't find our marriage license for the life of us, and Deborah stepped up and helped us because we got married. My wife and I got married in Vegas, so she stepped up to bat. She is an absolute gem of a person to have in your team if in the Nevada market. So definitely keep her in consideration. Felix Buchanan, good morning and welcome. Should good real estate wholesalers become real estate agents, and why not?
Grand Rising, everybody. What's going on, Joe? Always appreciate the platform. Felix Buchanan Sr., Buchanan Biz Enterprises, the JLix Group, and team leader of Keller Williams Legacy Team in Baltimore, Maryland. I think whether it's an investor or a real estate agent, when it comes to wholesaling, they need to truly understand what wholesaling is, what all encompasses it. So you want to ask questions of confirming whether they truly have the contract, direct the seller. If they have an assignment, what's the time frame that they have on their assignment to get the deal sold? What are the parameters around it? Because you have certain situations where you might have a wholesale deal and you can't get into the property because the seller wants to get rid of the property, but they don't want no one in the home. Making sure that you have accessibility, because sometimes you'll get a wholesale deal and they want you to do a sight unseen like it's an auction. So it's really just confirming that that wholesaler has the property properly under contract. What is the time frames? Are they going through foreclosure? Because I've had a couple wholesales where, they're pressing us to close it, but didn't give us the, behind the scenes information that, they're facing foreclosure. They have this amount of time. Well, if that's the case, then you guys got to move a little bit more rapidly, and you got to share that in the beginning, because there's a few deals that we didn't get to close because of that, because they don't give all that, information. I think wholesaling is rather simple. I've been doing it probably since 2010. I learned about it early. When I learned about it in the beginning, I didn't fully understand it. But about 2012, when I really started to lock into it, it's a gem of a thing to do. I wholesale deals now anywhere from New York, Baltimore, PA, Virginia, DC, the Carolinas, Georgia, California, and Texas, of course, some in Florida. I don't do Florida as much as I used to, like right after COVID, because obviously, different things that change with their landscapes. When you're wholesaling, understand the laws, just like Don was saying earlier, and you were saying certain states, they require that you have to have a license or you have to pay some type of fee. Again, like what John said, I haven't had any issues. I'm doing a wholesale deal in PA now. And I'm not having any issues. However, I do expect that as things progress, that of course in those particular states is going to get tighter, because you still have real estate agents that don't like working with wholesalers. And like you said, one of my business partners is a broker, and he's been a broker for 29 years. However, even when we went to the Riz Media leadership meeting in DC, the realtor started it off with, it's still just they want the numbers to go to NAR, and don't understand how valuable that as investors or wholesalers that we are to their business now. Investors have better capabilities than realtors do right now. So we got the ability to get closer to the seller more than the realtor. And I was a realtor for 15 years and understand that, what capabilities that off-market deals can do for your business. So that's my knowledge and wisdom for today.
Felix, well, thank you as always. I appreciate your insight. I've known Felix almost 20 years. We have stayed ageless in our aging, but I've known Felix a good long time, man, and I'm so glad he's part of my team of experts. And I can't wait to get him signed up as a white label broker up above. So you better sign up for the broker partner spot. And Amy and Deborah definitely should be referral partners, so get into that link as well. Mr. Stephen Franco, good morning and welcome. Brief overview who you are and what you do, and what's your thoughts on non-QM lending guidelines when it comes to assignments, etc. Where did Steve go? Oh, there he goes. Assignments and being a real estate agent versus not being a real estate agent as a wholesaler.
Well, I mean, I'm unusual. I'm an industrial broker.
Well, wait a minute, Steve. Steve, I want to make sure you're clear. We know you're unusual, so don't worry about that. We got that. We're good with that. So this continue.
Yeah, so I'm an investor. I started as wholesaling. I became a broker. And two things, right? I'm an unusual broker that first of all, the law in Pennsylvania is crap. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't protect the consumer, it protects the legal one, but it exists. I work with out-of-state wholesalers. I work with people who want to get licensed. I work with people who want to find their workaround to make it work. Do a lot of stuff like that. I actually no longer use PA 1173 contracts because the PA 1173 contract does not require you to tell the seller they're getting less, and it gives them 30 days to walk away on your deal. So I use different paperwork that's available only to licensees, accomplishes the same damn thing. So if you want to know more about that, definitely reach out to me. I'll help you out. But what I think people miss in asking wholesale, so everyone has covered most of it. How long do you have the contract for? Most of them, especially the inexperienced ones, are going to get cagey. You don't want to know what they have it for, because as I think Amy said, if I'm happy at 30 and you got it at 3, that's good on you. You got there first, you win. But I'm happy at 30, so I don't care. You want to know how they run their operation, whether they use, what title companies they use. If they do it that way, I let the buyer choose the title. But you want to know how they run the operation. Being a realtor is not what should have been the key for being a wholesaler. There should have been a license. There should have been something to give structure and organization to it. I want to know if they run things appropriately. Disclosure laws. Let's ask about that. Oh, what the hell's that? I don't do that. Well, then that's a red flag I need to know. So knowing how they run the operation, and like Felix said, is it in foreclosure? How far down it is? What is the choke point that might burn my deal? Asking those kinds of questions, and also realizing the vulnerability that unlicensed wholesaler has within the state of Pennsylvania, at least in some of these other states. I personally believe that no one has been nailed. I'm on a monthly chat with some of the bigger wholesalers in the market. No one's been nailed yet on the law, but yet is it. Because when I was at the PAR conference in January speaking, trying to help PAR get organized with this law, there was no interest in that, number one. Number two, from the podium, the director of the legislative committee says every time a wholesaler has through a client, which is every time a wholesaler sits down, and I walk up and it's, hi, broker from wholesale. He said, no, I didn't mean you. I said, try that in a room of people of some protected class. That's not cool. Realtors, the association hates wholesaling. They don't understand it. So the problem for those who are unlicensed is eventually, when they start enforcing the law, the state can come knocking. A $500 license with a broker in Pennsylvania gets you around that risk. But the real one for me is, and I had someone do this, I had a wholesaler play dirty with a seller, and someone I know explained to that seller that they had 30 days to get out of the deal, because the seller complained to me when I showed up at the house, all these things they lied about. So, under Pennsylvania law. So if you're not following the rules, you're leaving yourself vulnerable. So to get a $500 wholesale license or real estate license is so cheap. But I think the most important thing is that wholesalers, and Joe, you said this 100 times, if realtors did, and I'm both, so it's weird, but if realtors did what wholesalers do, there would never be any broke realtors. Because it's getting out there, it's getting the deal, or it's building a team, which is what I'm doing now, expanding my firm, getting a team to find the deal. I don't call the sellers directly much anymore. When they catch a fish, then I get involved in taking it from there. If real estate agents and the Realtor Association would listen to how wholesalers do their business, to how the Pace Mortgage Group and those folks do their business, we would never have another starving agent. And if people price things so that an investor can afford them, if you're going to buy your house, great, go for it. But if you can price things as a wholesaler does, which leaves room on the bone for the investor, then you'll get more deals. The last thing is you ask them for their scope of work, whatever, but don't believe anything. They're going to tell you a house that needs a kitchen, a furnace, and a roof for $15,000 repair. You have to look at it. You have to go visit the house. You have to do your numbers, because wholesalers don't know. Those who care don't know, and many of them don't care. So you have to just trust that they are simply playing the middle. And if you're not direct to the person holding the contract, I get out of it. I don't daily chain personally. So I know that was a lot of little pieces. Hopefully there's something in there for somebody.
I figure you'd get a kick out of this discussion this morning, Steve.
Yeah. Especially you know how much time they try to make the state go in a different direction. And that's actually one of the reasons that we work in other states is because it's so weird. But truthfully, as a broker, I can use a listing agreement that accomplishes me the same thing without the 30-day right of rescission, without all of the risks in the wholesale contract as a traditional listing contract.
Yeah.
I'm not working as their fiduciary, but I'm still working under my broker's list.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time, Steve, as always, being a part of this podcast and the growth of it. And obviously, I see us aligning in a lot of different levels, from direct to investor to broker channel to referral partner. Another thing for Steve, for you to understand, because Steve is going to become a white label broker with us. And you could actually, when you become a white label broker, by the way, guys, you could actually add people under you in that portal to make one consistent funnel. So if you're trying to bring a team in under you under the white label, we could add additional partners into that link directly so they can go into the same account with you, and I can control everything in more of a diplomatic and integrous matter. So please keep that in mind when you do join us at Lend Investors Capital. That is a great piece of that now, that software. It's taken me a couple of weeks to put it together since Landmark shut its operations. But I'm very happy with where we're going with this. And Steve, I look forward to having you as part of that in the Northeast Pennsylvania market as well. So thank you.
Do I need to re-sign up for this new company?
Yes.
Should you and I do a one-on-one on Sunday?
You don't need a one-on-one. It's all the once you're approved, all the instructional matrices, guidelines, and flyers are in there for you to study and become an expert on. I will have courses throughout the year, once a month, for my brokers, but the training modules and everything is in there once you're approved within 72 hours.
Okay. All right, cool. And I will send you a message about the other things that I may want to do a podcast or whatever with you.
Sounds good.
Finally get things put together. So we'll talk when you can.
No problem, Stephen. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Brian Guth, fresh out of Rochester, New York. Welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and what questions a real estate investor should ask a real estate wholesaler, especially in the Rochester market.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, my name is Brian Guth, part-time investor, do fix and holds, fix and flips up here in upstate New York, closer to Canada than New York City. Yeah, I'm definitely going to hit this from the investor side because I've scaled about 20 properties over the past 2 years. A lot of them have been via the wholesale relationships, and a lot of stuff you hit on early. You were spot on. I'm just going to add some color to things that I've seen and things that I've encountered that haven't been touched upon. One thing I pay attention to, depending on the wholesaler, is the closing costs. They may hide in there somewhere that as the buyer, you're responsible for all closing costs and all fees and attorney's fees for the seller as well. New York's an attorney state, so it's a little bit different than like PA or other title states. But I pay attention to in the contract, basically who is responsible and for what amounts, or essentially there's any limits to the closing costs. The other piece I've run into challenges, again, maybe it's a little bit unique in New York, but titling issues. I've had people or the wholesalers using their own title company and pushing me a marketable title, which works for my purchase, but I don't have the terminology correct, but I need a bulletproof title policy and all the title research, because ultimately, most likely, I'm turning around and I'm going to sell it. So I don't want a title that's just good enough for me to purchase. I need to be good enough comfortable enough that then when I go sell it, I'm not going to run into issues, and that wholesaler is going to be nowhere to be found. A little issue I've run into is, upon closing, how are you getting possession of the house? These transactions aren't like, typical, you sit at the closing table and the attorney hands you the key and like you have a celebration. Sometimes it's okay, we sign the paperwork. Now, how am I actually getting entry to the house? Do I have confirmation they've actually left the property? I've seen more and more wholesalers kind of go to, usually the wholesaler is kind of they find the property and they act as a liaison. I've seen more and more wholesalers become kind of lazy, to be honest. But yeah, they found the property and they assume they don't need to be involved at all afterwards. Just be aware of kind of what their involvement is, and that was kind of touched upon as far as some of the background checks, like know who the person is, see that they have references, etc. And something that Amy and Steven touched upon, they may give you what their rehab estimate is. They may give you what their ARV estimate is. But double check that yourself. Like take that as take that as what it is. They're in for their own interest. Make sure you have your own rehab estimate, your own ARV, especially if they aren't familiar with the area. They may pull a comp from a mile away, but that mile away may be night and day different from your property. I've seen a lot of people, wholesalers, going with, oh, I can get $200 per square foot. Yeah, you can if it was located 2 miles south. You can't get $200 per square foot in this area. So with that, I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah, I think, in markets that are so where the real estate investor is so savvy, Brian, like the Rochester market, the appraisers. So for a wholesaler to try to dupe you would not make a lot of sense. Is that a good way of looking at it?
100%. And there's a local, like we said, the cost of entry is pretty low. So you have your wholesalers that kind of been around. They do this as a full time. They know the market. They're here local or local-ish, so they know the details. I'm seeing a ton of wholesalers coming in from out of state. They're seeing it elsewhere. And they see the prices and think, okay, I can throw this on the market. But they have no idea the nuance of the area. And they're frankly uneducated. And if I was an uneducated investor, I could get burned pretty quick.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And what the beauty of Rochester is, the people in Rochester know their market. So if somebody tries to come in on that market and tries to wholesale, they'll crush them in a split second. That deal will go sideways, in my personal opinion. So I appreciate that. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday at the Vendor Expo up in Rochester. We're going to be collaborating on that table and kicking some ass, right?
Absolutely.
I look forward to it because Brian's going to be a white label broker representative for me up in the Rochester market. I'm very excited about that relationship. It's obviously the last 30 days has been a lot of decision making, pivoting, and positioning myself to have the right software for the right people. And Brian's going to be a key point and contact for my presence up in the Rochester market, but really for himself from the white label. So I'm excited about all the software we're now providing back to our brokers for all the guidelines, all the matrices, all the flyers. They don't have to go create anything. And now, if they want some social media assistance, obviously Yordell at Perkatech knows how to position that for you, but it's all right there once you're approved. So take advantage of that opportunity. The training is right in front of you. You don't need to call me every 5 minutes. It's all in front of you. I'm there to be your account executive. Mr. Michael D'Angelo, fresh out of Jersey, colleague of mine for a good amount of time. I think maybe a decade, I think we're at now. He tried to keep up with me when he was a starting off loan officer at Wells Fargo. He tried to keep up with me at networking events. I tripled myself in many places at the same time. So we became colleagues, and he's been coming up the ranks. He's now an account manager at MB Capital Solutions, where I send all my referrals for on unsecured business lines of credit. And hopefully he'll be accepting a position with me in the new year, Q1 at Lend Investors Capital. Michael, good morning and welcome. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and questions a real estate investor should ask a real estate wholesaler.
Good morning. Hopefully everybody can hear me.
Yep.
I appreciate it very much, Joe, and that is correct. When I was starting out after leaving the education field, getting into doing the financing and for essentially it was just normal residential loans at the time. I was the only thing I knew to do was go out and network, and Joe was everywhere, and he may have been a little bit mean to some of my colleagues, but he was very nice to me. He took me under his wing, and I won't lie, what he's taught me since then is invaluable. There's no value I can put on the information that he has taught me. And what it's allowed me to do going forward. So I have always appreciated that, Joe. Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you this year for Christmas again as well. But yeah, I work with MB Capital Solutions. And I do business lines of credit, so I help colleagues and clients get additional funding through business lines that they can use as gap funding, through down payment money that they can use it towards the rehab, and because it's through the business line of credit, it doesn't affect debt to income ratio, it doesn't affect personal credit score when you have higher utilization. That way, when you're doing a bird project, leveraging some of Joe's funds, you know that you're not going to have a lower LTV on the back end because the funds that you leverage is not having any effect on you on the personal side. It's my plug, so I appreciate the time for that. Thank you. If you would like to learn a little more about how to obtain this type of financing, let Joe know. He'll get you in contact with me. In regards to the wholesaling,
yeah,
I think the input that everyone's put in is fantastic. Everybody literally hit what needs to be hit. I will say, I mean, I was in Cincinnati last week. I was in Connecticut yesterday, Pennsylvania, all over the place. I'm talking to title companies, and from what I'm hearing, they don't care what the laws are. At the end of the day, they know that the wholesaler will just go to the next title company. So they're not going to turn down business. They're not going to be like, no, because the law says this. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. And I've had so many title companies tell me this. So at the end of the day, it does come down to due diligence on your part. And you want to make sure that you have some kind of control over the deal. Ask them for, their track record of deals they did in the prior year, and you want to make sure that you have control of the contract and you have control of the title company that you're going with, because if you don't control the title company, you lose control of the deal ultimately. So that's kind of my input there. Very important, and again, I'm just touching base on what everybody else said. I'm not here for a long time, just here for a good time, and I appreciate the time, so thank you.
Mike, thank you as always. I did need to catch up with you. I'll give you a call hopefully this afternoon just to touch base for the week. But Mike's been a vital piece of my team of experts. And, during COVID, we had our little cave here at my home office, and we buckled down and we bust out hundreds and hundreds of loans for clients. It was kind of entertaining for the most part during COVID, right?
It was a very fun time, actually.
Yeah. We used to wrap up Mike in bubble wrap and
just battling lenders to get deals done because they weren't moving at the pace that we were moving at. So, it was definitely a fun time.
So, during COVID, we wrapped Mike up in bubble wrap and put him in a corner of our home office. It was great. We gave him a tube to breathe out of and everything, but it was fine. We used to shuffle beer down the tube every once in a while just to keep him motivated, right?
I'm still shoveling beer down the tube to stay motivated, so I don't know what you think's changed.
That's great. Well, Mike, thank you for coming on this morning, and I appreciate it. Please, again, for Mike, please sign up for that white label broker link above. Got to get you up and running, get you trained. So obviously we could bring you in the quarter 1 as part of the team as well from the inside out, because we need account reps in the Northeast region. So thank you again.
No problem. I appreciate the time, Joe, and everyone. Just take advantage of the information that's being presented by everyone here. But what literally everyone said is the information that you should know, and it's not being told anywhere else. So take advantage of it, and I appreciate the time. Thank you, Joe.
Michael, thank you. So, Melissa, good morning and welcome. I haven't seen you in a minute, so welcome back. Your thoughts to questions a real estate investor should ask a real estate wholesaler, and a brief background on who you are, what you do.
Almost couldn't get that mic off. Good morning, Clubhouse. Good morning, Joe. Thank you so much for having me on. My name is Melissa King. I am the founder of Busy Bee Virtual Solutions, where we turn your back office chaos into clarity. Oh, and I do work with real estate investors. I love real estate. It's a great way to increase your wealth. My husband and I, who were also married in Las Vegas 30 years ago this past August. So congratulations on the Las Vegas wedding as well, Joe. We are investing with our self-directed IRA right now so we can gain a little traction here because we did not think ahead. We were just living life as Gen Xers, and now we have to invest so we can live on the rest for the rest of our years. But we're still young. You know, we got about 50 years left between the two of us. We're healthy. We're going to make it. And to today's information, due diligence, absolutely. Ask your questions, know your numbers, get it in writing, and please read it. Don't just set it on your desk. You have to read. I know we don't like to read. I also liked the title company and get your own title company. That is fantastic advice. That is an excellent way, besides the contract, to know what you're getting into and to hold people accountable. And that, of course, is how you get clarity as well. And I know we're running short on time, Joe, and I want to thank you very much for having me up here.
Thank you, Melissa. As always, I appreciate your time and your insight as well. And guys, you need to follow the moderators here. You need to reach out to the moderators and have a one-on-one. And these are individuals, real estate professionals that have provided their time consistently in our subject and our goal with the podcast. So please follow Amy, Deborah, Felix, Stephen, Brian, Michael, Melissa, and John McAllister, who's another colleague of mine, of course. Wholesaling remains one of the most powerful entry points into real estate investing. I think, but also one of the most misunderstood. It's not just about finding cheap deals. It's about, or signing contracts. It's about solving problems, building relationships, and creating value where others don't see it. In today's market, with higher rates or elevating rates or tighter lending on the regulated side, not as much on the non-QM side, and more informed sellers, successful wholesalers act more like transactional engineers than flippers. They know how to structure deals creatively, understand exit strategies, fix to flip, BRRRR, novation, seller finance, and keep compliance at top of mind. Focus on transparency, building your buyers list strategically, learning your numbers, adapting and diversifying, and understanding your lending partners. Many non-QM and private lenders, such as myself, can help your buyers close faster, make you more valuable as a wholesaler. Ultimately, wholesaling isn't about flipping paper. It's about building a business of opportunities, one that connects motivated sellers with ready investors and create win-win deals for everyone involved. The wholesalers who treat it like a profession, not a hustle, will be the ones still standing strong in 2026 and beyond. I want to thank everybody for this time today. We're here every Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We provide education, networking, and strategy. I want to thank our sponsors, as always, MB Capital, Percatech, Lend Investor Capital, Real Estate Mastermind Strategies. We have events coming up tomorrow night. We're in Philadelphia, 6:30 p.m. We are going to be talking about 1031 Exchange. Wednesday in Lehigh Valley, we're going to be talking about 1031 Exchange as well. We have the ultimate white label underwriting course coming up this Saturday. So if you decide to join us, please do. I would register soon because we're going to cap it. No more than 35 people in the room. It's going to be a dedicated class all day on Saturday. And then we're going to be in North Jersey talking about asset-based lending fundamentals 2026 on the third Monday in November. December, we're stacked with subject matter and discussions. We have two big events with Pace Morby in Philadelphia and Harrisburg. We're going to be also having our holiday parties in Lehigh Valley and Philadelphia. All this is on my events link at josephvscarice.com. All that can be found. We have door knocking pre-foreclosure discussions coming up in December 3 times. So I'm very excited about the month of December and the people that we're going to be meeting and greeting and networking with and collaborating with. And please become a broker, white label broker with us at Lend Investors Capital, referral partner where you can get paid for your time in referring people in, or direct to investor. And I please follow Amy into the next room in her AI rewire discussion today. I think it'll be a great discussion for real estate professionals in the space. And my quote today, which I always like to throw a quote out every morning. Remember, if you play small, you stay small. It's okay to want more, be more, and do more. Have a great week. We'll see you during the week, and we'll see you next Sunday morning here at the Creative Birth Strategies podcast and Clubhouse Room, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed, and I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds.